Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, more on passion in love. Yesterday, after the live streaming, someone asked a question that you mentioned passion in love. Then, if there is passion in love, then love becomes a hell. Do you have an example of passion? What passion in love looks like? And I do not want love to turn into hell. I will take this question. First of all, you have to understand, when you come in the company of the Master, it's not like you are sleeping and all of a sudden you wake up and you hear a word. Transformation is a continuous process, and then slowly you understand the ways and means, and also remember everything sentient or insentient has a center and a circumference, whether it is a word, whether it is a person, whether it is anything. Tree, animal, plants, river, everything has a soul and has a circumference. If you have discovered your soul and your journey from soul to circumference and circumference to soul has become easy, then anything, whether it is a word or any other thing, you can reach to its soul, reach to its circumference, because the soul is the essence, the center is the essence. The essence of something is contained in the center. Center means you are going deeper down into it, and then you discover the essence. When I was working on a research papers in probably 1977, the first time I wrote, every word has a soul, has a center and a circumference. We only know the circumference meaning of the word. It has a soul meaning that emerges from the center and the meaning that emerges from the circumference. Because our connection in life is only with the circumference, so we see everything, we understand everything as far as circumference is concerned. Passion is a beautiful word. It has, same way, it has a center, it has a circumference, and on the circumference it has many meanings. That's where the etymology comes into. What is the root of the word? And out of this, what different words emerge. Passion in anything, passion means when you are, one meaning of passion is when you are involved in anything, whether you are lukewarm or you are very intense into that. That is one meaning. You can do anything lukewarm. You are working, but you are not passionate about your work. You are meditating, but you are not passionate about meditation. Passionate means you put your entire energy into it. All the energy that you have in any work, you put it, and if you don't put it, it will remain lukewarm and you will not get the result that is desired for your transformation. So passion means you are going into something so intense that there is nothing else at that moment other than that particular work. You are working in your office, you have a project. You can be into it passionately, you can be into it lukewarm. When you are passionate, you are going to reach to the very core, and you will put all your energy in making it a success. When you are lukewarm, what happens? If I get it, get it. If I don't get it, don't get it. But when it becomes your life, it becomes everything for you. It is a question of life and death that I have to put into my total energy into that field. That is called passion. And that is where you are very passionate about it, whether it is meditation or anything. When you are entering into a relationship, you are entering into love. How are you going into it? Passionately or lukewarm? If you are lukewarm, it is certainly going to become a hell, because you will not get the desired results. Out of a relationship, you're supposed to get satiation. But if you are lukewarm, you will not get that. So in a relationship, contentment is a great help, is a great meditation to help the mind disappear. Because as long as the mind is there, there remains duality. When there is a commitment, you are passionately into it, then mind begins to disappear. Whatever is, be content with it. Sometimes when you are alone, be content with it. When you have the company, you enjoy it. The other meaning of passion is lust. And when this meaning remains onto the surface, then you miss everything. Then it becomes hellish, because you are entering into it out of lust. So if you are not satisfied, you are going into it lukewarm. If the results are not attained, you move to another one, and so on and so forth. You remain on the surface like a swimmer. So you keep on moving from one position to another, and and the beauty of it, once you learn the art of diving into it, then that means you are very passionate about it. So this you have to understand. And once you understand this, that there are two aspects of love. Friendship is an important aspect of love. If your beloved does not become your friend, you do not get develop the freedom that you do not have, and you have trust. There is no fear that you can speak to her about anything. But we are very much afraid. If, let us say, a thought comes, you see another beautiful person and a thought comes about her or him, we are afraid. If we tell this thing to our spouse, the relationship may shatter. So friendship is an important element of any relationship. It has its own beauty. You should be free to speak to your spouse anything that you feel to speak. When you are not that freedom, then there comes a problem. So, like for instance, when a seeker is speaking to the master, he should be able to bring out everything that he has been nourishing within him or that bothers him. Then trust grows, and trust is the essence of transformation. Currently, I am trying to finish a work, Life, Love and Light. It is almost in the state of final stages of being published. It is a diary of a seeker from Germany. She had asked certain questions which most of us do not have the courage to ask. This way you grow into trust. It is a seeker's diary. So it's a communion, wordless, and explanation through the words, through the dream sequence, and in so many ways the process of transformation. Because it was the questions of almost entire human being that she had asked, so she became the one who had asked the questions which many do not have the courage to ask. This is how all the scriptures begin. Buddhist scripture, whether it is Diamond Sutra, Buddha spoke to Subhuti. Subhuti did not ask anything, Buddha did not answer anything, and yet still the entire scripture, Diamond Sutra, came. This is the beauty. When I was growing, I had one prayer, my aspiration, that I should not have to ask you anything. If any question surfaces on the screen of my innerness, that should be known to you, and your answer should not be in the word, but instead the answer should arise, should evolve out of me through your energy. So this happens in dream sequence. Sometimes your question arises in your mind, immediately it is communed, it reaches the master because there is no barrier between the two. It's like a Wi-Fi. Immediately your spiritual Wi-Fi carries the message to the master and you receive the answer. So I have never asked a question, but all the answers came from within me. So this is the way it is said metaphorically that Subhuti did not ask any question, Buddha did not answer anything, yet still the entire Diamond Sutra is there. When Sariputra came to Buddha, he asked a question, and the communion between Sariputta and Buddha came to be known as Heart Sutra, Prajna Paramita Hridayam Sutra. And then the Diamond Sutra, in Prashnopanishad, 6 disciples reached the master, and they asked each one of them, they were masters in their own, they reached the Lord Supreme, Lord Parameshti. With each one of them had a question. So the master says that you have to stay here with me in my environment for 1 year, do whatever I ask you to do. So in that very thing prepares you to learn, prepares you to accept the master, to understand his ways and means. And sometimes many questions are answered just being in his company. But when you come, whenever you have time, you say that, Sheikh, I don't have time, I am busy with this, with that, and so then why are you wasting your time? You come once in a month or once in a while, you heard something, a question comes in, then okay, it is okay for me to respond to any question that comes from the seeker. But whether you are able to understand it or not, it happens, the response, the answer comes in a different way. You cannot answer anything directly, because it is not that, like if you ask me, where is my pen? I said it is there. It is not that kind of answer. Your question is not that where is my pen, and I say that your pen is there. It is not that kind of a question and answer. It is of a totally different quality. It is mystical. It has to create the grooves in your consciousness so that first you become capable of receiving the answers, then it may not be necessary. So it is very important that your love affair grows into friendship. You understand that you have to be into it passionately, putting your total energy into it as intense as possible, that whatever you have, you are pouring into it at that moment. Then something begins to happen. If you are lukewarm, you are not going to succeed. And then you also understand that the passion is an intense desire, putting total energy into it. And another meaning is that part of that, because you are going into it, into a relationship, so you have to involve at the level of sex. So how intense you are in that, how much energy you have put into it, that becomes. And then slowly and slowly, if you are putting total energy into it, it is like that you have taken out the ice and from the freezer, and it ices wherever it is. So sex at the physical level is frozen like an ice, and it will remain wherever it is. It will melt there. It will create a mess around. If a piece of ice falls on the ground, it will make the water, the ice will melt, and it will. So it has to melt in a melting pot, and then that melting pot where the ice has melted has to put on the fire. Fire means intense energy. And when there is an intense energy, the ice that has melted into the water and become water, it starts evaporating. And when it starts evaporating, it becomes cosmic. Then friendship, then your love affair becomes totally of a different quality. But if there is no liquid, if you put on the fire, put on the stove, but you forget to turn on the fire, or you put on and you go on to do something else and you realize that your gas has finished or electricity has cut off, it will not evaporate. So every desire, every passion must melt, become a liquid, and then evaporate. Then you can see the difference. Then there is no problem of whatsoever it is. Then your love affair has turned into a friendship. But no husband, no wife can really claim themselves to be friends as well. They were friends before marriage, before the beginning of the affair, but after that friendship slowly and slowly vanishes, gets evaporated. Whereas friendship is the steam that should come out of that. And when you are in that state there, then there is a totally different situation arises. In Vedas there is a sutra. The one who is in the middle need not be afraid of anything. Middle is beyond fear. If you are only thinking about passion and then there is bound to be a fear. Middle means balanced, and love in fact is not balanced. If love transforms into friendship, it is balanced. Love is an extreme situation. Friendship is very delicate, middle, very peaceful affair. So never be in a hurry. Just cherish each moment that comes in. As I said, passion means intense energy. You are in meditation but you are lukewarm. Then no result is obtained. And you grow only when you put your total energy into it. You are working, you have been given a project. If you put your total energy into it, success is bound to happen. No failure is there in that. You may sow a little bit, it may take a little time, but that intensity that you have put into it, the total energy that you have put into it, it will take you to the different level. You will begin to grow, whether it is work in the outside world or the work within you when you are working in you. When you are sitting in meditation and you are meditating intensely without anything, then whatsoever you do, it will bring, whatsoever you are doing, it will bring the results. You are passionately, if you sing, then sing passionately. If you love, then love passionately. And if you put your total energy into it and you are passionately into it, then your passion will transform into compassion. Buddha's compassion. Passion will not remain lust, passion will not remain anything else, and it will become. You can listen to anyone passionately. If you meditate, then meditate passionately. You cannot grow in life if you are not passionate about something that you like. If you like to have a love affair with this person, be as passionately as possible. If you like singing, be totally into it. Whatsoever you are doing, you have to be into it with your total energy passionately. Then growth is possible. But for your own growth, your intensity, your energy is very, very important. And when you do this, then you do not have to seek the answers to the questions that someone asks. Many times it happened at the last night when I was going to finish my day's work. I saw this message based on yesterday's live streaming, passion in love. Passion in love. Oh. Immediately you are very clear in your mind. You are responding through consciousness, not through the mind. Although the device of the mind, the computer of the mind is used to form the sentences in a sequence so that there is no haphazard hodgepodge presentation. You don't need all the answers are within you. Once you know the technique of exploring that answer within, that is why sometimes masters use a dream sequence. You are thinking about the master and you go to sleep and you dream that you had been wandering with the master in a wood, in a garden, somewhere else. Many things begin to happen. So all this starts bringing a different kind of a situation during that, and this is flowing out of your subconscious. So the communion is not only through the conscious mind, but through the subconscious mind. There is a difference between the two. If I am talking to you consciously through the conscious mind, you are listening to me through the conscious mind, then your own mind comes into play. Your own conditionings, your own religious beliefs. I had mentioned to you a couple times when I used to have opportunity was given to me to speak in Gurdwara. They used to tell me immediately that don't speak anything other than what it is mentioned in Guru Granth Sahib or related to the Sikh religion. Why do I bring the Sufism into it? Why I bring this? If you are cooking something and you want to be tasty or delicious, you have to bring all these spices into it and see how this particular spice will add to the flavor to the taste this will bring. Sometimes you have to add some things which a recipe does not call for. You know who you are cooking for and what different things you can add to it in order to bring about the taste, something which is pleasant. So in the same way, when you are listening through the conscious mind, your mind comes to play. But when the teaching is taking place through the subconscious mind, then your conscious mind is at sleep. I have full freedom. My energy, the energy of the master, functions in you through the subconscious mind. You dream that you dreamt the sheikh. You and the sheikh was holding the hands. Nothing wrong. Like a lover, they were holding each other's hands and walking through the garden. Master is your lover, your beloved, is your mother, is your father. It is totality of all the relations into it. You are looking at him, he is looking at you, and many things like that, different kind of sequences we experience. One should not be embarrassed about these. What it is happening, it is the energy of the master is playing through the subconscious mind, and whatsoever was unfulfilled in you is surfacing through that dream sequence, and after the dream sequence is over, you feel more satiation in that kind of a situation. Whatever needs to come out of that, it is not that always satiation will be there. If there was a fear in you, you have been nourishing fear all the time, then after that you will feel as if the fear has vanished, as if the anger has vanished. But you remember, anger is a great tool. It is a treasure. And make sure, before you express your anger towards someone, make sure whether the other is worthy of your gift of anger or not. You cannot express your anger towards an innocent person who cannot respond to your anger. Anger is a tool for transformation. But we do not understand. We see things as we are, not as they are. And that is one of the biggest problems that we face in our lives. Master speaks in a particular language because he is at a particular level. Sometimes he has to come down to your level to speak to you. And once you have grown, then you are in a position, in such a situation, that you can help the others in their process of transformation and growth. Remember, when you are going to help someone means you give them the hope for the impossible. Everyone is surrounded by impossible situations, impossible problems that are impossible to deal with. They never think in terms of impossible. But remember, God is impossible. Religion itself is nothing else but a passion for impossible. Religion is passion for impossible. So if the person who lives with the possible, he lives lukewarm. He lives only for the name's sake. He may be a good citizen, he may be a good person, he may be doing a good job, not creating any trouble for the family or anyone. He may not be a mischief maker, may not be a troublemaker individual, or may not be a troublesome person, may be perfectly adjusted. What is the point? One simply lives and dies and never knows anything beyond that which goes beyond death. When you are seeking the impossible, religion is nothing else but a passion for the impossible. So unless you can help the person, but first of all you have to get the glimpse of the impossible. You should have the passion for the impossible. Only then you can give the glimpse to the other of the impossible. Create a desire in him, a longing for the impossible, a desire for impossible, to be passionately, intensely in love with the impossible. To succeed in relationship seems almost impossible, but you can create a desire. It has create a meaning, and then the process of growth begins. And then this growth is neither economic nor political nor social. His growth is religious. Seeking the impossible is beginning of the growth for religion. His growth becomes religious. Its growth becomes real. He is neither a Christian nor a Hindu nor a Muslim. For the first time he has taken possession of his whole being. He is himself and nobody else. And now he has a direction, some meaning that he has uncovered. He has a direction. He is moving for the impossible, to seek, to uncover some meaning, some destiny that is there he has to fulfill. You can see passion growing around him. Only that passion brings you, only that understanding of passion, that total intensity brings health. Otherwise everything is in the world is just ordinary. Ordinary relationship, ordinary health, and that creates the boredom. You simply vegetate. Impossible never opens the door to them or for them. You talk about God, they laugh. They will say that is impossible. It cannot be. God is dead. They will say it never existed. So on and so forth thing. Just be as you are. Seek, develop passion for the impossible. Impossible means you are going deeper and deeper into it, be it relationship, be it work, whatsoever it is. You are a diver, not a swimmer. It is the diver that when it dives deep into the ocean of the ocean, then he gets the precious gems. There is a particular sutra. हम डूब के तूफानों में तहलाए समंदर की. हम डूब के तूफानों में, तूफान means storms. Life is a vicissitudes of storms. Everything there comes into your life, whether it is love, whether it is a relationship you are going to speak to your wife or to your spouse, as if you are going into a storm. So when you dive, you are afraid of that. When you are diving into these storms, only then you can reach to the depth of the ocean. हम डूब के तूफानों में लाए तह समंदर की. तह means I have discovered the depth of the ocean only by diving into the ocean through the storms of life. When you dive into the storm of the life, you reach to the very surface of the ocean, and that's where I got the precious gems that I am now. कुछ लोग किनारे पर ढूंढा किए गहराई. There are others who are standing on the shore and trying to imagine, trying to think about the depth of the ocean. They are thinking that the ocean should be this deep, that deep. So all of them are talking about the ocean may be this deep. The other said, no, it is that deep because I heard my grandfather says that this ocean is at this point is so much deep. But none of these have experience because they are standing on the shore. And when you stand on the shore of the life, you do not get the gems that the ocean of life carries in its womb. Standing on the shore, talking about, what shall you gain, O fool, by talking about those who are drunk and gone? You are talking about Muhammad, you are talking about Jesus. Jesus is drunk. And because of that, he is Jesus. He is drunk with God. Muhammad is drunk with Allah. Umar Khayyam's one of the composition is, which has been composed into the simple Urdu language as a ghazal and sung by one of the singers, Pankaj Udas. क्या हो हासिल उनके जिक्र से जो पीकर मस्त हुए हैं. What shall you gain, O fool, by talking about those who are drunk and gone? Learn how they got into the habit of drinking. The Master says, drink me. Jesus says, eat me. And that is the Last Supper. When Jesus, metaphorically it is said, when Jesus had the Last Supper and among his 12 apostles, he distributed the wine, and through that he distributed his energy field to the people, to the disciples. And the bread, loaf of bread, which was distributed among 12 disciples, this was symbolic of his flesh, the physical aspect of his being, the energy aspect, the physical aspect of the gross aspect of his being. Can you experience sex by talking about those or reading about the books on sex, how to make love? Can that help you in any way to have the experience of love making? By seeing the story, listening to the stories, reading the different postures, can it help you in any way to experience the bliss of marriage life, bliss of the sex life? Certainly not. You have to dive deep within, passionately. But remember, passion and lust are two different things. Passion as a putting your total energy into whatever you are doing is the real essence. That is the center. That is the soul of passion. The circumference is the swimming. When you keep on changing your partners, you never look for satiation in one. You keep on jumping, swimming from one position to another. You never gain momentum. The life does not remain fulfilled, simply remains lukewarm. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.